Before you head out onto the water with your stand-up paddleboard, it's really important you plan your paddle to help ensure you and your paddling buddies have a fun and safe SUP session. Make sure you consider the following: the wind and the weather, your location, the tide or the river conditions, appropriate clothing, your personal flotation, communication and emergency, your equipment, and the correct leash. In this video, I'm going to be talking about clothing. What are your SUP clothing options and how do you decide the best choice for the type of paddling you're going to be doing? Because you want to wear something that's not only comfortable to paddle in, but also protects you from the weather, whether it be hot, cold, wet, or dry. The correct clothing should keep you warm and safe if you do fall in, but also a good amount of comfort if you want to paddle again afterwards. Now, it is very easy to say, I'm not going to fall in, I'm not going to get wet, but you just never know when you go paddleboarding. So whatever your SUP ability, it's important you dress appropriately for being both in and on the water. Now, what's best to wear will vary depending on not only where you are in the world, but also across the seasons, when the water and the air temperature can change considerably. Also, what is the general weather like on the day you're actually paddling, and what type of paddling are you going to be doing? This should all influence clothing choice. For example, are you going to be going for a gentle paddle and hoping to stay dry? Do you want to go for a hard paddle and work up a good sweat? Or are you planning a surf session or a bit of family fun when you know you're going to be getting wet? The right clothing doesn't just keep you warm and dry, but it also can keep you cool and offer you UV protection on those hotter days, helping to ensure you are both comfortable and safe when paddling. So what are your main clothing options and when might you choose to wear them when you are paddleboarding? So you have a few choices: shorts and t-shirt and bikini, a wetsuit, other neoprene and layering options, or a full dry suit. If you live somewhere hot or you're paddling on a hot summer's day like here in the UK where the air temperature could get to 25 Celsius and the sea is about 17 Celsius, shorts and t-shirt or a bikini might be okay for a quick flat water paddle. But bear in mind, if you do fall in, you may soon get a chill on, and obviously those clothes won't offer you any UV protection. A rash vest or thin leggings or other moisture wicking sports clothing is ideal for fair weather paddling, not only to provide you some sun protection, but also they dry quickly, allowing you to continue to paddle if you do fall off and get wet. If you're going to be going surfing, or definitely knowing you're going to be getting wet a lot, like maybe a bit of family fun playing around in the shallow waters, then definitely a wetsuit is a really good option. Wetsuits are designed to get wet and feel way more comfortable when they are wet. Just ensure that they are a good tight fit so they're working properly. Wetsuits are available in lots of different thicknesses and different types depending on the time of year you're paddling and the type of paddling you're doing. But if you stay dry, they can be a bit hot and sweaty and they can feel quite restrictive, so they're not ideal if you're hoping to stay dry when out on the water. In which case, you're probably better off looking at other clothing options. Something warmer than shorts and t-shirt. So you might be considering things like neoprene leggings with a quick drying top or waterproof jacket on your top half. The leggings are designed to get wet, so they're ideal for launching and landing and keep you a bit warmer on those cooler, wetter paddling days. But unlike a full wetsuit, leggings are not restrictive, so they are much more comfortable to wear, and you can layer up, allow you to choose what you wear on your top half, which will best suit the type of paddling you're doing on that day and the weather you're going to be paddling in. Definitely when combined with a waterproof jacket, they're ideal for those wetter paddling days too. But remember, this type of clothing won't keep you as warm as wearing a full wetsuit if you do fall in a lot. But they really are versatile and they certainly help protect you from the elements when paddling, perfect for those slightly longer paddle sessions or multi-day touring adventures. Definitely try and stay away from woolen garments when heading out in the water. These will become heavy when wet, making it really hard and uncomfortable swimming. If you really want to stay warm when you're paddling in colder climates, you ideally want to stay dry. Waterproof trousers are a really good option, allowing your lower half to remain completely dry, even your feet if the trousers have inbuilt socks. Waterproof trousers with inbuilt socks are ideal for SUP as they allow your feet to remain dry and warm when not only launching but also during the duration of your paddle. They're designed to be worn with clothing underneath, so again giving you the option to pick your layering according to the time and type of paddling you're doing. When combined with a twin-waisted waterproof jacket, they act very much like a two-piece dry suit, ideal for those rainy days or those longer paddles when it's really important to stay dry and warm when on the water. The benefit over a full dry suit being that you can easily remove and add clothing layers to give you much more flexibility when you're paddling. A full dry suit is 100% waterproof and it is ideal for the colder, more extreme conditions, and it certainly will keep you the driest and warmest. Just make sure you've selected a good layer of clothing underneath, because remember, you cannot change this layering when you've started paddling. When it comes to your feet, definitely this is something you do not want to forget about, because paddleboarding with cold feet can be miserable. In the summer, going barefoot is ideal, especially when you're learning, because it really does help you to keep your balance. The downside of going barefoot is it can make launching and landing tricky, especially if you're launching on a rocky area, and it's not much fun in colder conditions when your toes feel like they're about to fall off. You can also use water shoes, and they can help protect your feet, especially when you're getting to and from the water's edge. They can keep your feet a bit warmer, especially combined with waterproof socks. But bear in mind, they can feel harder to balance on your board because you could be a little bit higher up, especially when you're learning. Wetsuit boots help keep your feet warm when wet, but they can be slippery on muddy riverbanks and they can get pretty stinky because they're very enclosed, but they're ideal for surfing and general paddling on the cooler days. Most dry suits and some waterproof trousers have inbuilt waterproof socks, which you can wear normal socks underneath. But you can also get separate waterproof socks which look very much like everyday socks, and they can be worn with any type of SUP clothing, another great option. Looking at other accessories like neoprene gloves, hats, balaclavas, they're well worth considering, definitely if you're going to be paddling on the colder days. Palmless mitts also allow you to easily hold your paddle whilst providing extra warmth. And if you're paddling in a whitewater environment or in an area where you may fall off close to rocks or the riverbank, definitely wearing a helmet is a good option for the extra protection. And also remember, a buoyancy aid provides a great extra layer of warmth, and it helps to keep you warmer on those colder days as well. Also, we'd like to raise your attention here about cold water shock if you haven't thought about this before. Cold water shock is where falling into cold water can result in an increased heart rate and a panic and a gasping for air, resulting in basically water inhalation. Now, it can occur in water temperatures below 15 degrees, so it's not just a winter thing, and it's actually more common where there's a bigger difference between the air and the water temperature. So this is another reason why it's really important to dress appropriately. Definitely well worth checking out a bit more information on cold water shock if you're unaware of this. In summary, wearing the right clothing can really make the difference when you're paddleboarding, helping to not only keep you comfortable, but also safe on the water. With the right clothing, there's no reason why you can't keep paddling all year round. Wherever and whenever you're paddling, always dress appropriately for being on and in the water. If you have an option layer up, then you can easily add and remove layers. Make sure you have somewhere to keep your extra clothes dry, such as a dry bag. Don't underestimate the power of the sun when out on the water. So as well as thinking about your main clothing, also consider a sun hat and definitely sun cream. And remember, the weather and the paddling conditions can quickly change, so be prepared and dress appropriately. We really hope you found this video informative and useful. Hopefully you now know more about the different clothing options when paddleboarding and the pros and cons to wearing each type. Please share this information with other stand-up paddleboarders to help keep everyone SUP safe out on the water.